She waited. She prayed. She hoped. But as the years passed, silence filled the space where answers should have been. She felt forgotten. But one day, she discovered something powerful. God never forgets his promises. Rachel had always believed in God's faithfulness. She grew up hearing about his miracles, his provision, his love. But when her own prayers went unanswered, doubt began to creep in. She had prayed for healing. She had prayed for a family. She had prayed for direction. Yet nothing seemed to change. She watched others receive blessings while she remained stuck in waiting. One night, she whispered, "Lord, have you forgotten me?" Rachel's waiting wasn't just months. It turned into years. Every birthday was another reminder of what hadn't happened. Every unanswered prayer felt like another closed door. She still went to church. She still lifted her hands during worship. But deep inside, she carried a quiet ache. Have you ever been there? You believe in God's promises for everyone else, but you struggle to believe them for yourself. That's where Rachel lived. One evening, after another baby shower for a friend, Rachel came home and collapsed on the floor. Her tears wouldn't stop. She prayed, "God, I've trusted you. I've waited. But I don't see anything. If you still see me, please show me." She expected silence, but instead, her heart was reminded of Isaiah 49:15-16. Can a mother forget the baby at her breast and have no compassion on the child she has borne? Though she may forget, I will not forget you. See, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. For the first time in months, Rachel felt peace. God hadn't forgotten her. His promise was still alive. The next morning, Rachel opened her Bible again. She read about Hannah, who wept for a child, about Sarah, who bore Isaac in her old age, about Elizabeth, who carried John the Baptist after years of barrenness. Each story carried the same truth. God's timing is not our timing, but his promises never fail. Rachel whispered, "Lord, I don't know how or when, but I choose to believe you haven't forgotten me." That decision became her turning point. From that day on, Rachel began to wait differently. Instead of counting her unanswered prayers, she started declaring God's promises over her life. She wrote verses on her mirror. "For no word from God will ever fail." Luke 1:37. "The Lord is faithful to all his promises and loving toward all he has made." Psalm 145:13. She joined a small prayer group, not just to ask for her needs, but to encourage others in theirs. The ache was still there, but so was hope. Months passed. Rachel still faced silence. One night she was tempted to give up. The thought came, "You've believed long enough. Stop waiting. Stop hoping." But then she remembered Abraham, who waited decades for God's promise. She remembered Galatians 6:9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." She closed her eyes and prayed, "Lord, even if I never see the answer, I will not stop trusting you." And heaven heard her. It didn't happen overnight, but 1 year later, Rachel stood in the doctor's office with tears streaming down her face. She was pregnant. The same woman who once wept on the floor believing she was forgotten was now carrying the promise she had prayed for. In that moment, she realized something important. The waiting wasn't wasted. God had been preparing her heart the whole time. Rachel's faith was never the same again. When she held her baby for the first time, she whispered, "You are proof that God never forgets his children." But her story didn't end there. Now, when she meets others who feel forgotten, she tells them, "I know how it feels, but I also know this. God keeps his promises. Hold on. He hasn't forgotten you." The woman who once questioned if God remembered her was now reminding others that he always does. Friend, maybe you feel like Rachel today. Maybe you've prayed and nothing has changed. Maybe you've wondered if God has passed you by. But hear this truth. God does not forget his children. His timing may be different, but his promises are certain. He has engraved you on his hands. He has spoken a word over your life, and that word will come to pass. So don't give up in the waiting. Don't believe the lie that you're forgotten, because the God who kept his promise to Rachel will keep his promise to you. Rachel's story is proof that God's silence is not his absence. His delay is not his denial, and his promises never fail. So if you feel forgotten today, take heart. God has not forgotten you, and in his perfect time, he will show you. Type Amen if you believe God never forgets his promises.